Hey YouTubers, I just did a video on my Glock 17, my personal customizations on it that probably don't reveal of a true professional. But anyway, at the end of my video, I talked that I picked up a Smith & Wesson 1911. The box here doesn't say exactly which, it just says 1911 machine engraved. But anyway, I'm going to go through some of the key features on the gun. Look at the bushing barrel. It's flush, which I like to see on 1911s. I love Smith & Wesson's cocking serrations. It's kind of like that fish scale type. The engraving is really, really good, like appealing aesthetic. What I've always wanted, and I've seen one, and I think it's a Ross Martin, or God, I can't remember. But I really wanted a chrome 1911 with all the engravings on it. I know they're probably horrible and it's not meant to be shot. I mean, it is, but I probably wouldn't shoot it. So anyway, let's move on. External extractor. This has got a very weak extractor. So if you ever watch 10A Performance, Hilton Yam, how he tests his extractors, he removes the slide and puts a bullet in the where this would normally be chambered, and he tests the fit of the extractor. Now this one was very loose. So let's keep moving back. So the top is serrated, and so is the rear of the slide. There we go. There's a better angle of that. So what I'm talking about is right here. Everything is flush fit. So you don't have your extractor hanging out. Normally what you see is with the internal extractors, you see that little round section back here. A lot of 1911s are notorious for those popping out. Let me rephrase that. A lot of production 1911s, you could tell they didn't go across a sander, or somebody filed that down to make it flush. But then at the rear, we do see the same serrations on the front, like these fish scales. No vac type sights, they're just 3 white dots, no tritium, no night sights. Smith & Wesson's, now it has an E engraved in there. I don't know what the E stands for. I had a Smith & Wesson 1911 probably 10-15 years ago. I don't remember. I think it was an E series, but I don't, on there it says engraved, but I think there's an E series line. Another thing that I like about Smith & Wesson is they actually machine front strap checkering on. And you can tell this is machined. Let me try and get that in there. Come on, focus. That is definitely not done by hand. And if it is, these guns are severely underpriced. But I've watched lots of YouTube videos on it where I've seen the machine process of front strap checkering on 1911s. Unfortunately, it came with one mag. It was one 7-round mag. It kind of looked similar to this Wilson Combat ETM with this base pad. I don't recall seeing a manufacturer marking on it. But the frame to slide fit is really good. It's really tight. No up and down, none whatsoever. So here's some of the, let's say, opportunities. There is barrel movement. Not sure if you guys seen that. It's bouncing. The thumb safety. Now it's only a single-sided safety. I might upgrade to a ambi safety. I like running ambis on my 1911s. But so anyway, I swapped a spring out. Like I told you in my other videos, I like to do Wolf power springs. So this one made it, you can hear this. But anyway, I was like, why does it feel so mushy? Not mushy, it feels like there's way more movement in there. So I'm hoping the camera's gonna pick this up. This really surprised me. Can you see anything else moving? The plunger tube is loose. So clearly Smith & Wesson quality control. Maybe it was a Friday at 4 o'clock, but this is definitely unacceptable. So I'm going to get into me contacting Smith & Wesson. Here's another thing. The hammer overextends and contacts the grip safety. Just so you see, my finger is not touching the grip safety. That might be a small thing or nothing to worry about to some folks, but for me, man, my Mac JSOC 1911 is solid for a production gun. I have Kimbers, I have Springfield Armories that don't do this. I just did a video on a $4,000 1911 by Guncrafter Industries that did this. Yep, they decided to make it right, but I decided not to send it in. Because I want to put some rounds down through it first and make sure nothing else needs to be addressed when it goes back. Granted, they probably would look over the entire pistol. There's something also weird about this hammer. So there's no mag in there. Nothing in the chamber. The trigger pull is really nice, but I want to talk about this hammer. So if I have this pointed and I'm aiming whatever I'm aiming at, but I'm looking at the hammer right now, it almost looks, so promise you're all safe. You're not going to get shot through the camera. I'm flagging you. The hammer is like at an angle going forward, and then it straightens up. So I was looking for hammer play. There is no hammer play. I don't know if my eyes are playing tricks on me. I promise you I'm not trying to be petty here. It's just these things that I'm noticing. The kind of minimal play in the grip safety, that's not enough for me to jump up and down about. I do like the extended mag release. Oh, and it does have a full-length guide rod. I'm indifferent on these. Like, I'm not like, oh, I have to run a GI guide rod. Like, to be honest with you, I'm gonna send this back to Smith & Wesson, and I'm probably not gonna do anything to it. For one, it's really pretty. I like the engravings. Now, I'm assuming it's machine done, because this is just, it looks like it was done by a machine. I'm not saying that there's not individuals out there capable of just as good, maybe better than a machine, but that is some really clean. Sorry guys, I am really trying to get a good light. I have all the lights on in my living room, dining room, kitchen, blue skies outside. I even got my lamp on right here, and it's just not really picking up the engraving. So, little disappointed with Smith & Wesson. I think it's a fine 1911. I think these are very easy fixes that should have been caught prior to it leaving the factory. But I debated on doing a stanchion magwell, but then I'd have to buy new grips, and I'm kind of liking the look of this, like, kind of tritone. So we got silver, we got black, and then we have the wood grip. So I think I might just leave this be, because I don't think it's going to see, if any, holster wear, let alone range time. Of course, I'll shoot it, but I have 1911s that are, like, to me, are battle proven, like ready to go right out of the box, that I can just run hundreds and hundreds of rounds through it before I strip it down and clean it or oil it. Other than that, very clean, very clean. I know we're probably not going to see a whole lot in there, but I do like this. So whether you're into 1911s or not, it is so crazy picking up let's use this, a Smith & Wesson 1911, and then I pick up a Kimber 1911, and my point of aim is completely different. Same thing if I picked up my Wilson Combat or a Springfield Armory, and I present that gun, and the point of aim feels so different. Now, they all are supposed to have the same angle, and I think they're probably within a degree or two, but when I present this Smith & Wesson, I noticed this, so it's Saturday, I bought this on Thursday. When I present this gun out, it feels like, I don't know, it's the most comfortable presentation 1911 I own right now. It's hard to explain. Like it's almost like my wrists are perfectly straight. And I should have brought out some of my other 1911 so I can kind of show you like a wrist angle. But no, I really dig this. I'm disappointed that Smith & Wesson would have sent out a firearm like this. I mean, we're talking like close to TRP prices of a Springfield Armory, and you're gonna send out 1911s with loose plunger tubes, and your hammers overextend. Like, you have weak extractors. Now the spring doesn't feel loose. I bet you there's too much material removed off the claw of the extractor. So I'm pushing down on this extractor. It's pretty tight. So, but it is super smooth. I'm trying to think of a reference of a 1911 that I bought where I don't know if maybe it just didn't have oil or had maybe the shipping oil. I want to say it was a Kimber TLE2 that I had. And I remember, God, this was years ago, but I remember racking it at the gun shop while the paperwork was being processed, and I was like, oh my God, it feels like there's sand in there. And I remember, like I said, and I'll say this in every video, I'll try to say this in every video, whether it's new or used, as soon as I get home, the entire gun gets stripped. And I'm not just talking 1911s. They get thoroughly cleaned, lubed, reassembled. And I'm sure it drives my wife nuts, but I will sit there on the couch watching TV while she's sitting right next to me, dry firing, rack and slides, like all day long. Like, I'll have like just raw hands, you know, from the cocking serrations or the front strap checkering or whatever it be, just messing with guns all day. But I remember that, I believe it was the TLE2. After I got home, disassembled it, cleaned it, lubed it, reassembled it, over lubed it, it was buttery smooth, just like this. So anyway, let's show you that barrel again, the crown. See, that's what I like. These are the aesthetics that catch my attention when I go into a gun shop and I see a 1911. But I am going to say this, and I don't want anyone thinking that I'm opposed to it, but this gun is also filled with MEM parts, metal injection mold. I was able to tear this down, and it had these stampings. Now, look how thin that thumb safety is. That is a very thin part. I'm sure it'll last longer than I will, but I'm probably going to replace this with a Wilson Combat Ambi safety. And I'm probably going to replace the slide lock, slide release, and then I might just leave it. So anyway, hope y'all are doing well. It's only the end of March. I need to stop buying guns. I've spent a lot of money on guns already, and I think about $6,000, and I shouldn't be. So anyway, I want to do some updates on the on this gun when and if it does go to Springfield or Smith & Wesson and comes back, and just to see what they say. So anyway, hope y'all are well. Take care.